Okay, so this was the basic system. I think I've covered everything. Let's come to the questions. एक बारी मैं जरा chat window खोलता हूँ. Hmm, I think I covered most of the things in Hindi and English. If somebody did not understand something, you can write it down. I'll let you know. हिंदी इंग्लिश दोनों में मैंने कोशिश करी बोलने की. चार्ट भावेश सर जी अभी मैंने कोई भेजा ही नहीं है. स्टॉक्स की हम ग्रुप में बात करेंगे. अभिषेक, थैंक यू. हाँ, अविनाश हैड आस्क्ड वन क्वेश्चन फ्रॉम माय साइड. अगर वीकली क्लोजिंग से पहले ऑलरेडी अच्छा खासा चल जाए स्टॉक. वेरी गुड क्वेश्चन. बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट चीज है ये कि आपको समझ लो. लेट्स से यू सी अ ब्रेकआउट ऑन मंडे. मंडे को वी सी अ स्टॉक that has broken out and we have to wait till Friday according to our system. So हम तो उसको मॉनिटर कर रहे हैं, बट मंडे ट्यूसडे वेडनेसडे यू सी वो इट इज कीप गोइंग ऑन एवरी डे 5% 6% वो बढ़ता जा रहा है. तो इट इट कैन बी वेरी डिफिकल्ट टू वेट टिल फ्राइडे. तो इसमें देर आर टू ऑप्शंस व्हाट आई कैन डू. इफ द चार्ट लुक्स वेरी गुड टू यू, if the weekly chart is looking very good to you on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, you see a breakout. तो what you can do is either या तो completely आप blind होके system follow करो कि नहीं I will see on Friday. And अगर आपको लगता है कि नहीं this will sustain, आपके पास आपके reasons हैं कि मुझे लग रहा है ये सस्टेन करेगा, इतने वीक वेट करके इसने ब्रेकआउट दिया है. तो व्हाट ये मैंने एक ही बार पहले किया है. अलोक इंडस्ट्रीज में वी हैड एंटर्ड मंडे या ट्यूसडे या वेडनेसडे को एंटर किया था मैंने कि मुझे लग रहा था कि अच्छा ब्रेकआउट है. तो उसको मैंने हाफ क्वांटिटी में बाय किया है. बॉट हाफ क्वांटिटी फॉर दैट स्टॉक. यूजली जितना मैं एक स्टॉक में बाय करता हूँ उसका मैंने उसको आधा खरीदा फ्राइडे से पहले. और फ्राइडे को ऑन फ्राइडे व्हेन आई सॉ कि ओके दिस स्टॉक हैज एक्चुअली सस्टेन्ड द ब्रेकआउट, तो मैंने हाफ और खरीद लिया और मेरा कॉस्ट एवरेज हो गया. ये मैंने सिर्फ एक या दो बार किया है कि मिड वीक में एंट्रीज करी है फोमो में कि ओके ये बहुत भाग रहा है तो फटाफट कुछ खरीद लेते हैं, आधा ले लेते हैं, आधा फ्राइडे को ले लेंगे. हाफ लेट्स बाय नाउ, हाफ लेट्स बाय ऑन फ्राइडे. बट आई ट्राई टू अवॉइड इट. मेरे को अच्छा नहीं लगता. आई डोंट लाइक दिस. आई लाइक टू फॉलो द सिस्टम एंड कि फ्राइडे को एंट्री करेंगे. एंड इफ यू सी द चार्ट ऑन अ वीकली टाइम फ्रेम तो आपको दिखेगा कि टारगेट्स भी बहुत बड़े होते हैं. अगर स्टॉप लॉस बड़ा है वीकली टाइम फ्रेम के तो टारगेट्स ऑल्सो कम आउट बिग बिकॉज ओवरऑल चार्ट कहाँ तक चला है वो तो 5-10% से भी इतना फर्क नहीं पड़ेगा. बट स्टिल आई अंडरस्टैंड. एक डर लगता है कि ओके अब ये स्टॉक 15-20% चल गया इस हफ्ते में तो आगे चलेगा कि नहीं चलेगा. So one can buy half quantity midweek and half quantity on Friday. This can be a good uh, compromise. And samajh, maybe let's say you did not buy on midweek and you saw you waited for Friday and you see that on Friday the stock has overall run 20% in this week. So what will I do in that position? I will check where the further resistance is. What is the next target? If it is very close to that target, the next resistance, so I may avoid buying that stock. And because मुझे लगेगा कि from that target it might come down to retrace or come down to retest. So या तो again on Friday I might buy half quantity कि okay let's take half quantity in this because the risk is more now and it might come to retest. तो एंड हाफ क्वांटिटी अगेन विल बाय नेक्स्ट फ्राइडे. ये दो तीन तरीके हैं जो मतलब दे आर इन माय माइंड स्ट्रैटेजीज हैं. ये मुझे करना नहीं पड़ा है अभी तक. एक या दो बार किया था खाली इन अलोक इंडस्ट्रीज. आई रिमेम्बर वेरी क्लियरली आई एंटर्ड मंडे या ट्यूसडे बिकॉज आई सॉ द ब्रेकआउट. ओके. इन ऑर्डर टू कीप मिनिमम एसएल कैन बी मार्क हॉरिजॉन्टल लेवल इंस्टेड. हाँ प्राची, आप मिनिमम एसएल तो आप रख सकते हैं जो भी हॉरिजॉन्टल लेवल यू यूज instead of moving average. Moving average I technically use when the stock has run good. अब वो अच्छा चल चुका है, अब मूविंग एवरेजेस ऊपर आ गए सब हॉरिजॉन्टल लेवल्स के, तो देन आई मूव टू मूविंग एवरेजेस बिकॉज देन देयर इज नो हॉरिजॉन्टल लेवल टू कीप अ एसएल. Initially, you can use horizontal levels. When the stock moves, then you can trail with moving averages. Daily Friday, but what if the stock has moved well? Huh? Nirbhay, I already answered this. If the daily frame, you one day, what? Vaibhav, अगर आप one day पे कर रहे हो, तो आपको थोड़ा सा और ध्यान रखना पड़ेगा because one day breakouts reverse all the time. तो कर तो बिल्कुल सकते हैं लोग, तो 5 मिनट्स पे भी करते हैं, 10-15 मिनट्स पे भी करते हैं, वन डे पे भी करते हैं. Weekly, my whole aim of doing it on weekly is to reduce the risk and have more conviction in the breakout. Suppose the chart has hit RSL before Friday. Yes, just like हमारी एंट्री फ्राइडे क्लोजिंग के पे बेस्ड है, हमारी एग्जिट या ट्रेलिंग स्टॉप लॉस भी फ्राइडे क्लोजिंग पे बेस्ड है. सो लेट्स से इफ अ स्टॉक इज मूविंग, इट्स फ्लैट, हमारा ट्रेलिंग स्टॉप लॉस 500 रुपए है, एंड द स्टॉक touches 500, goes to 470, 480, 490 during the week. I will keep waiting. I will take an exit on Friday. So यहाँ पे the risk is that we might have to actually sell the stock even below our trailing stop loss on Friday, because by Friday it might move even further below. But there is also a chance that by Friday it will completely recover. So if it closes above our trailing stop loss, I will keep holding the trade. Aditi asks, how do we choose trailing SL, EMA 1020? Each chart will have a different, each stock will be adhering to a different EMA level. Let me give you guys an example. Let me try to share my screen. ओके, सो ये GSFC का चार्ट है, ये वीकली चार्ट में जाते हैं. हाँ, सो आप लोगों को दिख रहा होगा, यू गाइस विल बी सीइंग that the white line is 10 EMA, the green is 20, and the blue is 50 EMA. So there this stock gave a breakout, it went above the 10 EMA, then it came down to 50 EMA, did not break 50 EMA, went up again. So 10 and 20 it is not respecting right now. Please keep your mics on mute, please. Yeah, so here 10 and 20 is not being respected, and but 50 is being respected. Then again it has gone above, and here it is going above 10 EMA. 10 EMA, it is breaking 10 EMA here, and it is breaking 10 EMA here, but it did not touch 20 EMA, and since then it has remained above 10. So let's say if I was entering somewhere around here, so I will keep my trailing stop loss as 50 EMA rather than 10 and 20, because I can see that 10 and 20 are not being respected. But if I am entering somewhere here in this breakout, so I will keep my trailing stop loss at 20 EMA instead of 50, because I can see that 20 is being respected. So each stock will have a different EMA respect, which will have different respect for different EMAs on different times. So before this everything was below EMA levels. Once it broke out, it was above 10, but then it broke 10 and 20, gave respect to 50, then it went up, and now it is respecting 10 EMA and staying above 10 EMA, and 20 EMA can be our stop loss. But so here I entered here in GSFC, and now in this 1 week it has given a very good move. So I cannot be trailing at 20 EMA because it is too far now. So right now there are no horizontal levels, there is this trend line level. Either I can use this as my stop loss, but this is only 1 week, so I'm not, in the first week I'm not going to give it so much control that okay, now the stop loss is at entry. So I'm trailing my stop loss with 10 EMA. As you can see the orange line, this is my trailing stop loss. The original stop loss was this red line at the green one, the 20 EMA. When we entered here, so my trailing stop loss was 20 EMA. Then the next week it has moved here, so my stop loss has been upgraded from 20 EMA to 10 EMA. This is how I choose which EMA to use for which stock. Okay, so next question. According to your approach, interim stocks well okay. If daily time frame. Prachi is asking, suppose a chart has hit your SL. Yeah, we've discussed this. We'll wait for Friday for confirmation. Once we cross 25% profit, how we choose ये भी हो गया. Trade journal video I'll share. Can we see some charts on the screen? Okay. I'll give an example of a breakout. A lot of people are asking what a breakout is. So I'll share my screen again. A breakout basically means a change in trend in a stock. Any stock that is moving in a trend, and when the trend changes, for example, this is the GSFC chart, so it is moving in this trend, and you see this is called a trend line. This blue line was a trend line, then this blue line is a trend line. A trend line is a line which connects peaks of a stock, and you can connect peaks, you can connect the bottoms. These are trend lines. So here we saw that this trend line was going, it came back below the trend line, then came up. It, according to the trend line, it should have come down, but it broke the trend line and moved up. According to this trend line, the stock should have gone like this, like this, like this, continued, but it gave a breakout. This is a breakout. A breakout means when a stock changes its direction, its usual direction. Its usual direction is moving under the trend line, and now here it gave a breakout of this trend line. So it decided ki okay, I'm not going to follow this trend line. I'm breaking out of this trend line. This is called a breakout. We did not enter here. There is another trend line that is going like this, and I was watching this stock here also. I saw that it has broken two trend lines, but I also saw that there is another trend line just above it, so it might wait here for a few weeks. So as we saw, it gave a breakout, but then from this above trend line that I had marked, it came back down and came back down, and then this week on 25th December, this gave a breakout right here. This is exactly where we entered. This is my entry point. Okay, now it has broken out of the final trend line, and in the next 1 week it gave this bigger move because it broke the final trend line. This is an example of a breakout. A breakout can be of many types. This is a trend line breakout. A breakout can be of a horizontal level, like this green line is a horizontal level that it had come up till here. This was the all-time high, and then it came down, and then it gave a breakout of the previous all-time high. So this was a breakout. But this was a failed breakout because there was a trend line resistance right here. So it broke out, but trend line sent it back down. But it took EMA support and it gave a breakout of the trend lines. Breakouts हो गया. Once we enter a trade and moves 25% to 30% and unable to book half the quantity, Okay, Praveen asks if we are unable to book half quantity and stock moves down. So this happened with me with Aegis Logistics just a few days ago. I was very bullish on Aegis Logistics. It had moved to 27-28%, and for some reason I decided not to book half. And I thought ki all right, let's wait for further move and I will book in one go. But Aegis Logistics eventually after 27% it started moving down, and I had to book at much less uh, because it hit my trailing stop loss. I'll just check what it was. Aegis Logistics, I took a trailing stop loss hit at 7.7%. So I was hoping that it will again go up, and it might go up, but this was the only trade that I did not do a greed booking at 25%. It had gone to 27-28%, and I thought ki, all right, I'll take a chance in this one stock, and I'll wait for it to go further up. But it came down, and I kept waiting that it will return again, but it did not. It hit my trailing stop loss at 7%. So I would suggest to decide a greed level and book half the quantity there. If it is after it has moved to 25, now it's 19 or 18%, you should still book half the quantity, and then even at 19 or 18%, and then so that you can also hold the rest of the quantity with more ease. ताकि आप एक बार जब वो आप लालच वाली बुकिंग कर लेते हो कि 20-25% मैंने बुक कर लिया, उसके बाद आपको ना डर कम लगता है बाकी क्वांटिटी के लिए, उसको आप आराम से होल्ड कर सकते हो फिर बिना डर के. दीप जी, आई होप आपको कुछ थोड़ा सा समझ आया होगा अबाउट ब्रेकआउट्स का. You cannot keep Pawan ji asks, how do we keep stop loss on closing basis and zero da? आप सिस्टम में नहीं डाल सकते हैं स्टॉप लॉस. यू कैन नॉट पुट द स्टॉप लॉस इन द सिस्टम ऑन क्लोजिंग बेसिस. यू हैव टू बी एक्टिव ऑन फ्राइडे. आपको यू हैव टू मैन्युअली एग्जिट. यू हैव टू सी आपका ट्रेलिंग स्टॉप लॉस क्या है. दैट इज वाई आई मार्क ऑल माई ट्रेलिंग स्टॉप लॉसेज इन द चार्ट. आप कोई भी चार्ट देखेंगे मेरा तो देर विल बी अ येलो लाइन, orange line, which is a trailing stop loss. So on Friday after noon, 12 or 1, I always check all my stocks. If any stock is near my trailing stop loss, so I will put that chart in priority and keep watching it. That if it closes below the yellow line, I have to exit manually. You cannot put uh, a closing basis stop loss in the system, because क्लोजिंग बेसिस तो क्लोजिंग पे आएगी ना. Vitesh asks, I have many stocks of very old holdings which are in loss. I used to buy on rope tips. What should I do in this case? ये थोड़ा सा कॉम्प्लिकेटेड है, इसको डिस्कस करना विदेश. आपको चार्ट्स चेक करने पड़ेंगे. इफ द चार्ट हैज सम पॉजिटिविटी दैट इट इज मूविंग बैक अप, then you can average, but do not average your stocks if the chart is bearish. If the chart is going on falling and अगर वो negative चल रहा है, don't average your stocks, and it is better to exit than to average and buy again when the stock shows reversal. But if there is hope in the chart support पे है, तो then आप उसको average भी कर सकते हैं. You have to decide this on a case by case in each individual stock. वो आपको charts देख के आपको समझ आएगा. You can share the charts for the stocks that you are stuck in the group, and we can discuss that. How to screen the stocks and how to take calls in screener available. I don't screen stocks. I don't use screeners. I don't use scanners. I check all the stocks manually. I only check small cap 250 stocks right now, and I check manually. I have already analyzed the stocks and I have marked the breakout levels. And when the breakout levels hit and sustain during the week, I take those trades. 25-30 unable to book. Now the call. We've answered this, Praveen. Booking half is important because then it removes the fear. Yes, Prachi, there is a level just below my entry that can be used as a TSL. Yes, you're right. But I'm giving it a little more room and using the EMA level. You are right, there is a level just below my entry. VCP stocks we can discuss, Shubham, later in the group. Small cap 250 list. Okay. Aziz, I will share a link from the NSE website. You can just Google it, NSE small cap 250. This is the link. I will just share it in the chat only. I've shared in the chat. I'll share in the group also. On this website, you'll find a CSV file. CSV file are Excel files only. It opens in Excel. You'll see the list of 250 stocks that NAC identifies as small cap 250. Sector rotation, please. How to identify which sector could perform. This is a bigger topic to discuss, Prachi. We'll discuss it some other time. This is quite complicated, sector rotation. We'll have to see how to integrate this. Recently joined, so I missed entry most. It's okay. How do we decide entry points? Aditi, you don't have to enter in the stocks that are already entered because most of them will not have a good risk reward ratio now because they have already run. So it would be better to take fresh entries from the fresh trades that I share on Fridays. Avoid trading the older trades. How to create target line. Bhavesh, I use previous swing highs as targets. I'll give you an example. I'll do a live analysis for a stock and then we can see how to create targets. Share. We'll do a live analysis of a stock. We discussed yesterday which stock. Aarti drugs we discussed yesterday in the group. It was a very good example. So I'll just delete these. 1 second. Yeah, this is Aarti drugs. This is the weekly chart of Aarti drugs. And let's do a live analysis of this. How to enter, when to enter, what can the targets be. सबसे पहले beginning में I will make a trend line from the top of the chart and to the next peak and see if it makes a valid trend line. This is valid, but it's of no use as the stock has crossed the price of, it has already crossed this level, so it's giving us no information. So we'll go to the next peak. Okay, this is a very good example of a trend line. It has 3 touches, 1, 2 and 3. So this is a very strong trend line. We can rely on this. A trend line which has 3 touches is it's a trend line is valid when it has 3 touches. 2 touches any trend line will have, right? You will join, आप कोई भी 2 पॉइंट्स को एक ट्रेंड लाइन से जोड़ोगे तो ट्रेंड लाइन बन जाएगी, बट वो वैलिड कब है, जब उसमें 2 से ज्यादा टचेस है. First trend line is this, and now we see that the stock is here, and once it breaks this point, so it will be a breakout after it breaks this trend line. So what is our important level? It becomes this horizontal level where this is. But if we see what else is near, so I'll bring my cursor here and I'll see where the line is going, where this line goes, the plus line. Okay, I see that there is a big, yes, right here, this horizontal level has this touch, has these touches, has these touches. There is a big consolidation under this support level. It broke down and it went down from here. So these are all the touches it has. Then it is also near to this level. So this is a very important horizontal level for this specific stock. Then, so my entry would basically be a positive, a very good entry would basically be above this level. So if I in price label 637, approximately this comes. So if I just change it to this, no, that was better. 637 is good. And but the price is here. If I want to take an entry earlier, so I can see the current horizontal levels, right? So these are the two current horizontal levels, right here and right here. These are also multiple touches. This is not multiple touches, but this is one touch, and this is where the price is stopped right now. I can take an entry here, but I also have to know that there is a trend line right here. So it can come and go back again. So the best entry would be above the trend line and above this horizontal line. What will be my targets? My targets would be previous swing highs. So if I'm taking an entry right here, then the first target is obviously this. This is the main resistance. But I would not take an entry here. I would wait for the price to go above this. Once it goes above this, then the upper targets open. Upper targets can be, see, one is this. It has multiple touches. Multiple peaks are coming here and going down. So one target can be this. Then what about another target? Then another target, a lower target if we want to find. Right. Yeah. So this lower target is also a good one. I hope you guys can see clearly. So these are this is one line, this is second target, this is third target. Above this we can have bigger targets. These are hypothetical right now. We can make them clearer once the price is above. So these would be my targets. If I'm entering here, and target 1, target 2, target 3 and target 4. How would I choose my stop loss in this case? In this case, if we see that all EMA levels are mixed here right now. So we cannot use EMA levels as stop losses here. So we have to use horizontal levels. Horizontal levels would be multiple touches at the, just like above horizontal levels, we have to find a good horizontal level at the bottom. So one can be this, the one we marked just below the candle. But this is so close that we cannot completely rely on it. So this can be a stop loss, it can be a conservative stop loss. Okay, if the price goes up and immediately comes down, and this would be my stop loss. But you see, if we are entering here, then there is a different then there are different options. If we are entering here, then this is not a valid stop loss, but this is a good stop loss. It has multiple touches. It is stock. You can see the stock sustaining above it, and then breaking down, and then coming above, and then sustaining above it, and then giving breakout, and then coming down, and then again bouncing from this level. So this is a good stop loss. We'll mark it red. This is for if we enter right now. Let's say we are entering here. So here what we can do is that, why have we entered here? That there was a trend line breakout here and the horizontal breakout here. So in this case, our immediate stop loss can be the trend line itself. That if the stock comes below the trend line, then we can exit. And once the stock starts moving, then we can trail with EMA levels. This is basically how I would analyze a stock. I hope it was clear, and we have time for a few more questions. Guys, please mute your mics. Thank you. Ideal minimum maximum amount. Okay, the position sizing. Position sizing, how much allotment of funds you add to a individual stock. My personal view on this is that your position should be equal. Whatever investment you do in whichever stock, if you are trading high number of stocks, like 15, 20, 30, 40 stocks, then I would really suggest that you have equal amounts invested in each stock. Why is this? Because if you hit a stop loss in one stock, let's say you hit a 15% or stop loss in one stock, which is it's not going to hurt you a lot, ज़्यादा नुकसान नहीं होगा, because वो उतना ही अमाउंट है जितना बाकी सब स्टॉक्स में इन्वेस्टेड है. So any one stock can do the भरपाई. It can cover the losses for that one stop loss. And if your positions are different sized, like one position is of 50,000, one position of 10,000, so if you hit a stop loss in a bigger position, then you'll need 5 or 6 smaller positions to cover the stop loss of that one big position. Valerie asks, how do we decide which EMA to use, how to trade? I already discussed this, Valerie. Somebody else also asked this. We'll use the EMA that the stock is adhering to. If it is using 10 EMA to bounce, we'll use 10 EMA. If it is coming down below 10 EMA and moving up back from 20 EMA, then we'll use 20 EMA. I showed it with the chart. Deep, I use weekly time frame for all weekly, and sometimes I use monthly to do the analysis. I don't use daily or less than that. All the analysis, all the trading, all the chart analysis I do on weekly. Sometimes if the stock is very old and it has a huge weekly chart, then I'll use the monthly time frame to analyze and then view it on the weekly time frame to see if it makes sense. Kathavinash, I did not cover any individual stocks. Capital allocation per stock path should be equal. It makes sense that way because then it can help you. If one stop loss hits, another stock can cover it. If you use different sized capitals for each stock, then your risk is more. Okay, risk reward ratio. Aditi, risk reward ratio basically means, let's say you are buying a stock at 100 rupees and your stop loss is 90 rupees. So your risk is 10 rupees here. So a good risk reward ratio is 1:2 at least. So 1:2 risk reward is, if the risk is 10 rupees, then the reward should be 20 rupees. So 1:2 ratio is that way. But usually my charts start with 1:1 trailing stop loss. For example, if my stop loss is 10%, so my initial target would be 10% as well. So that is 1:1. A risk reward ratio means that. So if you are trying to enter in a trade which has already run a lot, and so what happens in a stock which has already run 30-40%, so the valid stop loss comes a lot below than 10-20%. A valid stop loss is if it is coming 40% of a stock or 20% even. So then your risk reward ratio becomes how much we think it can still move. Let's say if we feel that 10-15% it might more move and come down. So your risk reward ratio becomes 25% stop loss and 10% gain. So that is a bad risk reward ratio. भुजंग जी, एवरेज करना गलत बात नहीं है, बट एवरेज करना तब सही है जब आपको चार्ट पे दिखे कि वो स्टॉक सपोर्ट पे है. अगर कोई स्टॉक गिरता ही जा रहा है तो आप उसको एवरेज नहीं करेंगे, आप वेट करेंगे कि उसकी सपोर्ट पे आके वो वापस बाउंस जब लेगा, वो आप चार्ट को बताने देंगे अपने आप को कि मैं अब वापस ऊपर जा रहा हूँ. जब वो बाउंस करेगा उसके बाद आप एवरेज करेंगे. गिरते हुए स्टॉक को आप कभी एवरेज नहीं करेंगे, वो गलत होगा. How can I overcome? Yes, शेख साहब, we all have this bad habit कि जब हमें अच्छा प्रॉफिट दिखता है तो हम फटाफट उसको बुक कर लेते हैं. तो ये जो the weekly system that I am trying to develop helps with that कि एग्जिट आपको फ्राइडे को ही लेना है. एंट्री भी आपको फ्राइडे को ही करना है. सो एवरी फ्राइडे अगर आपको, जब आप वीकली चार्ट देखेंगे ना, तो आपको अलग चीज दिखेगी. आप अगर आप छोटे टाइम फ्रेम में आप चार्ट देख रहे हैं तो आपको दिखेगा ओके ऊपर जा रहा है नीचे जा रहा है, तो इट क्रिएट्स फियर कि ओहो मेरा प्रॉफिट 2% कम हो गया, मेरा प्रॉफिट 2% बढ़ गया. बट आप वीकली टाइम फ्रेम पे जब आप चार्ट्स को देखेंगे तो यू विल सी कि ओके द वीकली कैंडल इज ग्रीन, पिछले हफ्ते से इस हफ्ते ओवरऑल मूवमेंट इज पॉजिटिव, सो देन व्हाई शुड आई एग्जिट, आई शुड कीप होल्डिंग. अगले हफ्ते भी देखते हैं, अगर रेड कैंडल बनेगी हफ्ते की, देन वी कैन डिसाइड कि ऑल राइट नाउ वी शुड एग्जिट द स्टॉक. प्रॉफिटेबल जोन. पवन जी इज आस्किंग कि एक्सेल में, पवन एक्सेल में गूगल फाइनेंसेस के फॉर्मूलाज डोंट वर्क. उसके अलग फॉर्मूलाज हैं. एक्सेल एक्सेल ऑल्सो हैज फॉर्मूलाज फॉर लाइव प्राइस अपडेटिंग. बट जो मेरे मेरे पास जो एक्सेल है वो होम एंड ऑफिस यूज वाला है, स्टूडेंट नहीं है. होम एंड ऑफिस या MS ऑफिस होम. तो इन दैट द प्राइस टिकर डज नॉट वर्क, सो आई हैव टू यूज गूगल शीट्स. गूगल शीट्स को आप कंप्यूटर पे खोल सकते हैं. इट इज एग्जैक्टली एज यूजेबल एज एक्सेल. यू डोंट, इफ यू डोंट ओपन इट ऑन द फोन, if you can open it on the computer, it is the same. MV sir identify breakouts. Yes, MV sir बिल्कुल identify करते हैं breakout से पहले. प्राची, MV sir का I am very inspired from MV sir as well. उनसे काफी कुछ सीखा है मैंने. And MV sir breakout से पहले ट्रेड लेते हैं. MV sir stop loss नहीं डिफाइन करते हैं and he holds the trades for a very long time. In fact, most people are not comfortable holding stocks for such a long time because सबके, not everybody has the same targets, not everybody has the same mindset as MV sir. So वो he waits for good his charts are excellent. He waits for supports to buy. He also waits for, and he then informs again after the breakout that hold tight and fasten your seat belt and everything. So he has a different style. I wait for the breakout and I wait for a confirmation and then I enter. My entering price would be higher if MV sir and I were taking the same trade. MV sir would identify with all the other skills he has much before to enter the stock. I would enter it much later but with confirmation. That is the only difference. My buying price would be much higher. Vaibhav, I trade on weekly time frame only. Parth, I already told you equal allocation is better. Thank you, Ved. What if we increase our percent in stocks which a large cap or mid cap we have good. हाँ, just like people average, जैसे लोग average करते हैं in the stocks that they have a loss in, the opposite of that is called pyramiding. Pyramid करना किसी stock को is also a very good idea to increase your profits. जैसे जब stock नीचे की तरफ जा रहा है और आपको लग रहा है कि oh so much loss is happening, you will average and get your average cost lower. So when the stock is doing very good and it breaks the next level of a breakout, then you can buy more stock. It will increase your average cost, but that is called pyramiding. That why should we only average our losers? Why don't we pyramid our winners also? So or to earn more, when a stock gives a fresh breakout, you already have that stock. If the fresh breakout sustains, you can pyramid your position. Habit of booking profits. With lots of practice, Sheikh Saab. You have to have a lot of practice to not book early. Anupam, EMA and SMA का एक वीडियो है. I have made a video on YouTube. I'll share a link to that. You will get full explanation of that. EMA and SMA का basic difference ये होता है. SMA is simple moving average. EMA is exponential moving average. SMA means ये moving average is average of candles. जो आपकी lines move कर रही हैं candles के नीचे, तो 10 EMA या 10 SMA is the average of last 10 candles, 20 is the average of last 20, 50 is the average of last 50, जिस भी आप टाइम फ्रेम पे देखें उसको। तो अगर वीकली टाइम फ्रेम पे देख रहे हैं तो 10 EMA इज द एवरेज ऑफ लास्ट 10 वीकली कैंडल्स। और EMA एंड SMA में फर्क ये है कि SMA टेक्स द एवरेज ऑफ मिडिल पॉइंट्स ऑफ ऑल कैंडल्स, सेंटर पॉइंट। कोई कैंडल कितनी भी बड़ी हो उसके सेंटर पॉइंट को कैलकुलेट करेगी खाली वो, और वो उसका एवरेज लेती जाएगी। EMA, which means exponential moving average, it takes into consideration the whole movement of a candle. So the SMA level does not know how big the candle is. उसको ये नहीं पता कि कैंडल कितनी बड़ी है, उसको बस ये पता है कि कैंडल का मिड पॉइंट क्या है। EMA जो है इट नोज एग्जैक्टली कितनी बड़ी कैंडल है बिकॉज इट इज टेकिंग एवरेज ऑफ द होल कैंडल मूवमेंट। सो दैट इज वाई EMA इज बेटर देन SMA फॉर शॉर्टर टाइम फ्रेम यूजेज। जो जैसे हम स्विंग ट्रेडिंग, मतलब अगर देखा जाए तो स्विंग ट्रेडिंग इज शॉर्ट टर्म ट्रेडिंग, we are not holding stocks for years, that is long term trading. And EMA levels are, जो ट्रेड कर रहे हैं, EMA is meant for short term trading, SMA is meant for long term fundamental trading. उसको कैंडल की लेंथ से कोई मतलब नहीं है, उसको एवरेज चाहिए। तो हम शॉर्ट टर्म ट्रेडिंग कर रहे हैं, उसमें EMA is more beneficial. Volume profile analysis. I'm sorry, Shubham, I'm not sure about that. I'll definitely read up on it, what it means. Volume profile analysis, I'm not sure. Can the same strategy of weekly confirmation be applied to index too for some? प्राची, options are something that मैं अपने हाथ भी जला चुका हूँ उसमें, मैंने की भी है खूब ऑप्शन ट्रेडिंग, आई हैव बीन प्रॉफिटेबल, बट इट्स नॉट समथिंग आई केम टू द कंक्लूजन कि वो it's more of, there's more gambling than analysis, especially in option buying. तो I'm not very sure. आप इंडेक्स को बिल्कुल एनालाइज कर सकते हो वीकली ट्रेडिंग, वीकली कॉन्फर्मेशन के बेसिस पे। इनफैक्ट आई शेयर माई निफ्टी का एनालिसिस एंड ईच एंड एवरी इंडेक्स, जो भी सेक्टोरल इंडेक्सेस है उन सब के भी मैं आपको हर हफ्ते हर वीकेंड पे आई डू एन एनालिसिस बेस्ड ऑन वीकली क्लोजिंग। सो आप कर बिल्कुल सकते हो, बट आई वुड नॉट सजेस्ट बाइंग ऑप्शंस बेस्ड ऑन दैट बिकॉज ऑप्शंस मूव वेरी क्विकली एंड वेरी फास्टली ऑन वेरी स्मॉल टाइम फ्रेम। अगर आप ऑप्शंस वीकली टाइम फ्रेम के हिसाब से खरीद रहे हो तो आपको यू विल प्रोबेबली हैव टू बाय ऑप्शंस एक्सपायरिंग द नेक्स्ट मंथ एंड बी वेरी पेशेंट विद ऑप्शंस, एंड ऑप्शंस के साथ पेशेंट होना इज नॉट ईजी, इट विल बी वेरी डिफिकल्ट। अजीज, लॉन्ग टर्म इन्वेस्टमेंट के लिए यू हैव टू लर्न फंडामेंटल एनालिसिस। टेक्निकल एनालिसिस इज गुड फॉर एंट्री एंड एग्जिट्स, बट फॉर लॉन्ग टर्म इन्वेस्टमेंट, वेल्थ ग्रोथ फॉर कमिंग जनरेशन जैसे आपने लिखा है, तो आपको फंडामेंटल एनालिसिस देखना पड़ेगा। आपको हर क्वार्टर में you have to see the fundamental reports of every company that you invest in. You have to learn fundamental analysis. Accounts समझ आने चाहिए, उनकी कॉन कॉल्स कंपनीज की पढ़नी पड़ेंगी, समझना पड़ेगा कि किसका क्या मतलब है। So मेरे पर्सनली मेरे बस का ये सब है नहीं, तो आई डोंट डू स्टॉक इन्वेस्टमेंट इन स्टॉक्स। मेरी जो पर्सनल लॉन्ग टर्म इन्वेस्टमेंट है दैट इज इन म्यूचुअल फंड्स। अब वाई आई चूज म्यूचुअल फंड्स फॉर इन्वेस्टमेंट, बिकॉज दे आर प्रोफेशनल्स आउट देयर, they are charging 1% of your mutual fund overall when you withdraw, and they are giving you all the I'll get back to you, Prachi. मैं mutual funds I choose because we have good people managing big funds, and they will be reading all the fundamental reports and all the fundamentals of a company. They will be वो फॉलो अप करेंगे हर कंपनी की, हर 3 महीने में जब क्वार्टरली रिपोर्ट आएगी दे विल रीड, दे विल अंडरस्टैंड कि उसका मतलब क्या है। मेरे को समझ नहीं आएगा वो, सो आई वुड रादर इन्वेस्ट वाया म्यूचुअल फंड्स फॉर लॉन्ग टर्म वेल्थ एंड लॉन्ग टर्म ग्रोथ फॉर आवर नेक्स्ट जनरेशन, बिकॉज वहाँ पे प्रोफेशनल्स हैं, हाईली इंटेलिजेंट प्रोफेशनल्स हैं जो बड़े बड़े फंड्स मैनेज कर रहे हैं। ETF नहीं, I use mutual funds, not ETF. I'll share my mutual funds list. I have shared before also. If you search in the group for mutual funds, you'll get a list. I had 5 recommendations to start mutual funds. One is your quant small cap. Then there is Tata Digital IT Fund, Parag Parik Flexi Cap, then HDFC Defense Fund, and IT हो गया, Park हो गया. There was one more. I'll put that in the group again. Although there were 5 funds that I chose for somebody who had asked you how to start. I think Aziz Bhai the or somebody else. The 5 stocks. I'll link that in the group again. 5 mutual funds that you can start. So we've ended the questions. If anybody has any other questions, Raksha ji, you are in a queue. I am very sorry. I'm not actually very familiar with doing these meetings because मेरे काम में ये काम नहीं आती हैं. So, Raksha ji, you wanted to have a question? नहीं, Praveen, you should open a demat account and do your mutual funds yourself. Direct mutual funds are best because there is no commission for agents in between. You can do mutual funds from any demat app. There is for Zerodha, there's Coin, for Grow, it's integrated. There is mutual funds in Dhan. Any demat you can have mutual funds. Thank you, Aditi. You're most welcome. Weekly breakouts should be with volumes. Yeah. So how we covered this in the beginning. How I choose which ones to enter. There are 3-4 reasons. Like if we have 20 breakouts in a week, and which top 5 I will choose are the volume should be good on the weekly candle. The overall chart should look good. The next resistance should be a little far. It should not be just in another 15-20 points then resistance is there. Then the shape of the weekly candle, it should not be a bearish candle. It should be a normal candle. If it's a bullish candle, it is very good. A neutral or a bullish candle. If it's a hammer, if it's a big strong candle, it's very good. If it is red, if it is inverted hammer, I would avoid that entry. Anupam, sir, entry for stock on Friday is understandable, but Friday is also weekly expiry of futures and options, which often lead market to lower levels. Why can't we take a call for exiting stock some other day of the week? Anupam, Friday futures and options, I understand weekly expiry, but Friday, you have a point, but exiting on Friday is also important because the weekly candle closes on Friday. So futures and options weekly expiry on Friday, I am not sure which thing expires on Friday. There are expiries every day now. There are so many expiries. There is Nifty, there is Mid Cap, there is Bank Nifty, there is Sensex, there is BankX. Every day there is some or the other expiry. And on Fridays there will be monthly expiries. There will be weekly expiries. So and also it is also monthly closing and weekly closing for that weeks and months candle. It is an important day. Fridays, it makes sense to use Fridays only. राहुल भाई क्या क्वेश्चन है आपका? मैं हिंदी में बता देता हूँ. आई एम सॉरी, आई एम वेरी हिंदी या इंग्लिश में आप मेरे को आप क्वेश्चन दोबारा पूछ लीजिए, मैं हिंदी में बता देता हूँ. Option chain, OI stocks. I am really not good with all this. Renika ji, I am a swing trader. I am not good with options. राहुल, लो ब्रोकरेज डीमैट अकाउंट सारे डिस्काउंट ब्रोकर्स जितने भी हैं आपके, ग्रो हो गया, धन हो गया, जीरोधा हो गया, ये सब 20+ टैक्स यूज करते हैं फॉर एवरी ट्रांजैक्शन. एक दो और ऑप्शंस हैं जिनमें ब्रोकरेज नहीं है. ऑप्शंस में फिनवेजिया है, शून्य आई थिंक, बट मैंने बहुत यू हियर अ लॉट ऑफ थिंग्स कि ओहो ये डाउन हो गया वो डाउन हो गया. सो आप ब्रोकरेज आई वुड सजेस्ट कि आप एक अच्छा ब्रोकर यूज करें. ग्रो, आई यूज ग्रो. मैं ग्रो यूज करता हूँ फॉर एवरीथिंग. जब मैं ऑप्शंस करता था तब मैं ग्रो यूज करता था, मेरे को कभी प्रॉब्लम नहीं हुई. और मैं स्विंग ट्रेडिंग करता हूँ तो भी मैं ग्रो ही यूज करता हूँ फॉर ऑल माई ट्रांजेक्शन्स. इट्स वेरी गुड. इट चार्जेस फॉर ऑप्शंस आई बिलीव 20 rupees per taxes plus taxes per transaction. Yes, Fahim, we will try. Let's see if there is interest next week or next to next week. We'll do it again. दोबारा करेंगे. अदिति, जर्नी तो इट्स जस्ट स्टार्टिंग अभी. दिस इज, मैं बहुत टाइम से आई वाज ट्राइंग टू मेक अ सिस्टम जिसमें मेरे को थोड़ा सा इजी रहे, थोड़ा सा कंफर्टेबल रहे. वीकली सिस्टम में आई कैन गो ऑन अ हॉलीडे मंडे टू थर्सडे एंड नॉट सी एनीथिंग, कि देखने की जरूरत ही नहीं है. आई जस्ट हैव टू बी एक्टिव ऑन फ्राइडे. सो आई वांटेड टू मेक अ सिस्टम जिसमें मुझे बहुत ज्यादा एक्टिव ना रहना पड़े, बहुत ज्यादा काम ना करना पड़े. तो उस हिसाब से आई एम ट्राइंग टू डेवलप दिस सिस्टम. आई एम, दिस इज अ टोटल एक्सपेरिमेंट. एवरीथिंग कैन गो रॉन्ग. कुछ भी हो सकता है. मैं सिर्फ ट्राई कर रहा हूँ. आई एम ट्राइंग टू फाइन ट्यून द सिस्टम, ट्राइंग टू लर्न न्यू थिंग्स जो मैं उसमें इंटीग्रेट कर सकूँ. कुछ नई चीज सीखने को मिलेगी तो आई विल ऐड इट टू द सिस्टम. कुछ नहीं काम करेगा तो आई विल रिमूव इट फ्रॉम द सिस्टम. धीरे धीरे करके वी विल ट्राई टू इम्प्रूव. लेट्स सी. बाकी जर्नी तो क्या है, अभी तो शुरुआत है, देखते हैं कहाँ जाते हैं. मार्केट में शेख साहब